This podcast with Dr. Russ Jaffe, titled How to Keep Yourself and All Those Who Care About Healthy in a New World, was recorded by WeCare4 in collaboration with the Marketing Impact Council in May of 2020 during the peak period of COVID-19. While some of its content was especially relevant to that era, we believe that it still provides a great deal of very interesting and valuable perspective and useful advice that is virtually timeless and from which we all can learn.
I'm John Greco, founder and chair of the Marketing Impact Council. Welcome to this discussion on how to keep yourself and all those you care about healthy in a new world, as we all experience what we call the COVID-19 reset. This discussion has been organized and produced in collaboration with WeCare4, whose founder and CEO, Carol Greco, is co-moderating with me today. Now, I'm proud to say that Carol is both my wife and my business partner in other initiatives such as the Council. We are delighted to have with us today as our special guest, Dr. Russell M. Jaffe, MD, Ph.D., and CCN. CCN stands for Certified Clinical Nutritionist. Russ Jaffe is founder and chairman of PERQUE Integrative Health, a company that offers the world's scientifically proven integrative health solutions to speed the transition from sick care to healthful caring. Dr. Jaffe has more than 40 years of experience contributing to molecular biology and clinical diagnostics. His focus is on functional predictive tests and procedures designed to improve the precision of both diagnosis and of treatment outcomes. And he has authored nearly 100 articles on the subject. He received his B.S., M.D., and Ph.D. from the Boston University School of Medicine, completed residency training in clinical chemistry at the National Institutes of Health, and remained on the permanent senior staff there before pursuing other interests, including starting the Health Studies Collegium think tank, of which he is a fellow. Dr. Jaffe is board certified in clinical pathology, in chemical pathology. He is the recipient of the Merck Sharp Dohm Excellence in Research Award, the J.D. Lane Award, and the U.S.P.H.S. Meritorious Service Award. Dr. Jaffe was honored as an international scientist by the IBC of Oxford, England, for his lifetime contributions to clinical medicine, biochemistry, immunology, methodology, and integrative health policy. He's widely published and is often sought to explain complex subjects to a wide range of audiences. Dr. Jaffe is also founder and chairman of elucidate Biotechnologies and Magic Biotherapeutics. Thank you, Dr. Jaffe, for joining us today and bringing your valuable insights to this topic. Now, the Marketing Impact Council provides our members with tools and access to resources to unlock value that help council members address the question, if you only had $1 more, how would you invest it to create the greatest sustainable impact on the value of your entity and brand? Now, we typically are speaking about value in the context of the integration of business strategy, marketing, and communications. However, I can't think of anything more valuable than investing in the health of yourself, your team, your customers and clients, and all of your and their collective families, which is why we are co-hosting this discussion today. You can learn more about the Council and benefits of membership on our website. Carol, would you like to say a few words about WeCare4?
Thank you, John. WeCare4 is a community of caregivers who are family members, friends, or professionals working in a home or in a long or short-term care facility, learning and sharing knowledge and experiences. It is also extended to the community of companies and organizations providing products and services that best serve the aging. And finally, it is a source of relevant news, information, and resources. Our mission is basically to help those who care for the aging. We offer the community access to a career center, which has 2 uniquely designed and engaging platforms. One platform is designed for institutional care facilities, and the other is for in-home caring. A marketplace where caregivers can find and have access to the extended community of companies, organizations, institutions, and agencies providing products and services for their loved ones, patients, and for themselves. relevant news and articles from around the globe, and the WeCare4 forum, which contains various articles on aging, presented by many experts in the areas of care and caregiving, end of life, legal, financial, and insurance, lifestyle, medical, and relevant resources. You can learn more at WeCare4.com.
Thank you, Carol. Russ, let's start with the big picture before we drill down on the implications for each of our audience segments. Now, given your own extensive professional, broad global experience, as well as what you're hearing from others in your network, what perspective and insights can you share with us about the coronavirus and how COVID-19 has really impacted our world?
Well, first, I appreciate an introduction that my mother would have written. And to address your question, healthy people, people without comorbidities, people without other risk factors, will be exposed and they won't get really sick. The catastrophes occur in essentially only the people with comorbidities, who have other dispositions in regard to how they breathe, their lungs, their hearts, their blood vessels. Now, that doesn't mean that COVID-19 is going away anytime soon, because it's not. It comes and goes like the flu. Now, so that's the news. The good news is, if you follow the suggestions that we will go over within this interview, if you follow those suggestions, you reduce your risk by a factor of over 1,000.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Well, it's physiology. It's using nature, nurture, and wholeness. Yes, it's kind of surprising because Tony Fauci doesn't talk about it, but that's not what he talks about. And he does stay within the area of his very special expertise, and he is definitely worth listening to. However, what we want to talk about is the host. Are you a hospitable host or are you inhospitable? I can make you inhospitable if you will follow certain simple lifestyle suggestions. That's the good news.
Carol, I think you have some specific questions regarding the WeCare4 community.
Dr. Jaffe, again, with the advent of COVID-19, there's an increased awareness of maintaining a healthy immune system. And if yours is compromised, remaining vigilant and following the CDC guidelines. Besides isolating and social distancing, the aging population, because of their many underlying conditions, is there something caregivers can do to help their patients remain healthy and perhaps improve their health in a post-COVID world?
There has been a lot of discussion, Carol, about age, but age is not the issue. Functional age, not chronological age, is the issue. If you are 40 going on 90, you're at risk. If you're 90 going on 40, you are not. So it's not the age of the person. From child to centenarian. It is about their comorbidities. Are they overweight or are they at their lean weight? The difference between a 140-pound lean person and a 280-pound fat person is 140 pounds of fat. And inside that fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin D, which is really important for immune defense and repair, and for comfort and pain management, it's really a neurohormone. You can hide a lot of vitamin D in an excess fat pack. Now, for full disclosure, I used to weigh 65 pounds more. I lost the weight. It wasn't easy. It wasn't overnight. It wasn't, a rah-rah thing, but I did because I wanted to live. And it's as simple. I don't mean to make this overly simplistic, but it's as simple as the following. If you want to live, use physiology before pharmacology, use nature, nurture, and wholeness, and have a community of support within reach. When my dad had a stroke at 83, I took care of him and he recovered. It was a miracle. And then he went back to his condo in Florida because apparently at some age, all Jewish men have to go to a condo in Florida. Okay. But then at 90, for reasons we did not understand, my dad lost weight. And at that age, when people who are not fat lose weight, you think of cancer. So I had my dad come up, my friends at the National Cancer Institute tested him, scanned him from stem to stern. There was nothing they could find that they could treat. And my dad did everything I suggested, and for 3 months, it looked like another miracle was gonna happen, and then for 3 months, he plateaued, and then for 3 months, he slipped. And he knew, and I knew, that his time was up. But he gave me the gift of having months, knowing what the end of the story is going to be. But in that time, we could talk about the fact that my father had opinions. When I grew up, every time someone said to my father, "What do you want to do?" he said, "What do you want to do?" Because he would do what you wanted to do because he didn't think he would do what he wanted to do. He actually had opinions. The bottom line is that before I signed my father's death certificate, which was the first one in my medical career in half a century, the first death certificate I signed was my father. I had grieved with him in my arms when he was still breathing. You have to grieve when you lose a loved one, of course, of course, of course. But if you can grieve before you have to put them in the box and then put them in the ground, that's a gift. My father gave me that gift. So it's a complicated issue, but the bottom line is there are certain essential nutrients, there are certain essential actions that can improve quality of immune defense and repair systems, and therefore, whatever age you are, now would be a good time to tune up your immune defense and repair system.
Now, this leads to the next question. You have, how do the caregivers communicate their thoughts and concerns with the patient's primary care physicians if these recommendations don't follow their particular protocols?
A profoundly important question. I come in peace. I come with a background that is eclectic, but internal medicine and laboratory medicine at NIH in the United States Public Health Service, and then cross-trained in TCM and acupuncture, cross-trained in Ayurveda, cross-trained in nutrition and in activity. Most doctors are not. It takes 8,000 hours to educate a doctor, and then another 4,000 hours if you're going to become a specialist. And by the time you're done with 12,000 hours of training, you want to go out and make a living. Not unreasonable, not at all unreasonable. However, when people come to doctors about stress-related issues, or about nutrition-related issues, or about environmental toxicity issues, the doctor knows from nothing. And the 3 hardest words, I promise you, this has been studied, it's a simple fact. The 3 hardest words for a doctor to say is, "I don't know." So here's my suggestion in regard to the primary care physician, who probably would be largely in the category of very well trained, very competent, very caring, but knows from nothing about environment or attitude or nutrition. My suggestion is you say, there is a doctor, his name is Dr. Jaffe. You can look him up under drjaffe.com online, and you can find him. He doesn't hide. And you can look at his background if you want, and his foreground, and the articles he's published, and the YouTube videos, and he will explain to you why it is absolutely essential to take in the nutrients that we cannot make in larger amounts than ever, because in the 21st century, we're marinating in a sea of anti-nutrient pro-oxidative toxins. I could go on, but now we're going to get into the weeds. The point is, if you're taking in antitoxins because it's the 21st century, you have to increase your nutrient, essential required nutrients. Essential means we can't make them. We have to take them in from diet and or supplements. If the supplements get in, that's a good thing. If the supplements are work-alike but don't work, that's a bad thing.
Well, that's going to lead me to my last question. We talk about not only how do you take care of your patient, but how do the caregivers care for themselves, which would lead to what should they be doing? Like you said,
well, the caregivers to protect themselves. They should be doing a weekly C cleanse to find out how much antioxidant protection they need in regard to their pro-oxidative burden. They should be checking their vitamin D level and taking sufficient drops under the tongue to bring them into the 50 to 80 healthier range. They should be taking magnesium and choline citrate and maybe some extra zinc, because those minerals buffer the acids of metabolism that hinder and squander good health and good life. They should be eating foods that they can digest, assimilate, and eliminate without immune burden. They should be well hydrated, which means more than a glass of water once or twice a day. Mild dehydration is epidemic and a major risk factor. So stay well hydrated. And then, to the extent you can, and this is a very complicated issue right now, but to the extent that you can, have the people around you whom you love and who love you, and let them touch you. I today reviewed an article from some very esteemed guys at Imperial College in London, and they had reviewed 40 studies. And the bottom line of the 40 studies is, if the person who touches you loves you, if you love the person who touches you, that doesn't harm you. And yes, these coronaviruses, these respiratory viruses can live for a long time on surfaces, but those viruses on the surface turn out to be duds. They're not infectious. So Franklin Delano Roosevelt comes to mind. The thing we have to fear is fear itself. Listen to Tony Fauci. Listen to the people who actually have been around the block more than 20 minutes. And then come back to us for the physiology, the host. You want to be an inhospitable host. You don't want to be a hospitable host. We can help you with that.
Russ, to that end, could you take a few moments to describe, you started several companies here to help address these challenges. Can you describe the various products and services that you're offering through those companies? I know it starts with everything from testing to actually products that people could be taking. So if you could take us through that, that would be very helpful.
No, of course. You start with drrusselljaffe.com. This is my website, drrusselljaffe.com. It invites you to get the free ebook about how to reduce your risk and what to do, the healthier habits, and the essential nutrients. Then we have betterlabtestsnow.com. Betterlabtestsnow.com is a portal for consumers who want accurate information about predictive biomarkers, about their functional capacity, and it includes bundles of products that are specific in this time of COVID-19 and or coronavirus. Now, coronavirus is an RNA virus. It has to do with the breathing and the lungs, but it's actually not a very aggressive virus as long as you have a surface that is resistant, and inside that you have an innate immune defense and repair system that can recycle billions and billions of foreign invaders. So we want you to boost your host defenses to be inhospitable. We want you to do that through a combination of self-assessments, predictive biomarker tests, and then lifestyle programs. It's a matter of choice. It's kind of like diabetes. Diabetes kills, diabetes costs. But diabetes is a choice. And if you follow David Rothbard and our advice and you keep your blood sugar in the healthy range, you don't have the complications. So you can avoid the respiratory distress. You can avoid the catastrophes. You can explain all of the problems related to COVID-19 in regard to acute lack of vitamin C and acute lack of magnesium choline-citrate.
Interesting.
That's a bold statement, but you can hold me to that.
Very interesting.
So Russ, one final question for you. The area of telehealth seems to has reached, I think, a tipping point
Yes.
in terms of the acceptance, penetration, et cetera. What do you believe that will look like as we go forward, and what role might it play in the overall healthcare process?
Well, here we want to go to Hawaii, partly because Hawaii is wonderful and it's always nice to go to Hawaii. But more importantly, Senator Dan Inouye, who has a son who is a physician who started at a telehealth comprehensive integrative functional clinic on the North Shore of Hawaii, that could be a model for what we're talking about. So you come there when you have a need. And when you don't have a need, you tap on your tablet, or you tap on your phone, or you tap on something that's a screen. And someone comes up and says, "Hi, what's up?" And they say, "Well, I'm burning up and I can't breathe." And the person says, "Well, come in." Or the other side, "Well, I have 100.01 temperature and I'm afraid." Okay, take a glass of hibiscus tea. And how do you know what hibiscus tea is? Look outside your door. Hibiscus grows all over the North Shore of Hawaii. I kid you not. Okay, so we have examples, but they have been in the past what I would call the extreme examples. These are people who are bedridden. Just moving them from home to the clinic so that the doctor can examine them puts risk on their life. So what used to be 8 to 9% of healthcare as telehealth is now going to be 25 to 40%. The doctors, the professionals, have to get used to seeing people on a screen and being seen on a screen. And I can tell you that doctors of my age, now outside the United States, everyone has some app or other on their phone where they can see their loved ones. But inside the United States, doctors over, I don't know, 60 years of age or something, they don't even have cameras on their computers. I kid you not. We are the Luddites of our generation by choice. The reason in part that I became a doctor was I didn't want to learn how to type. I kid you not. I hope that's funny, but it's true.
You just had to learn how to scribble, right?
And let the other people figure out what the scribble means.
Well, you know, in the area of telehealth, I would like to point out that both the Council and WeCare4 offer a special telehealth program provided by MD Live, and they're one of the leading telehealth network providers. It's basically like having a doctor with you everywhere you go, 24/7, 365, and it lets you use your mobile app, your phone, your PC, connect with a board-certified physician or pediatrician for the treatment of a wide range of non-emergency conditions. And that program offers easy access to on-demand doctor visits in minutes with unlimited use, no access fees, no consult fees, no co-pays, no contracts. So it's a flat rate that really very economically provides both caregivers as well as or people of all segments this easy access. And you can enroll in those programs only through a very special link that's on our website, because it's a unique offering that cannot be obtained directly from MD Live. We've worked with them to package this in this very special way. So anybody that's interested in that needs to be sure to use that special link on our sites in order to register. And I also want to note that we also have special offers of Dr. Jaffe's products and services available for our members on our websites through their affiliate programs. So please look for them on both the WeCare4.com and the council websites. In addition to those products and services, there'll be additional material there that actually explain in more detail what some of those products and services are for and capable of. Russ, before we wrap up, is there anything that you would like to add for our audience to think about as they think about moving through this COVID-19 environment, out the other end of it, dealing with, as someone very, I think, appropriately said the other day, we're not going to be dealing with the new normal. In many ways, it's going to be the new strange. So any closing comments from you?
Yes, if you continue with the habits of the past, I can tell you what catastrophes will happen. If you change your habits today, I can promise you quality of life for the full duration of your life. And what is the full duration of your life or my life? I don't know. That's above my pay grade. But I do know that at 120, I want to be dancing with friends like you and Carol around me, because I have chosen to live and renew and restore and rehabilitate and live with gratitude for getting restorative sleep, for getting food that I can digest, assimilate, and eliminate without immune burden, for having neurohormonal balances that leave me at whatever age I am functioning at half that chronology. And my main teacher at 106, we tested him extensively for a variety of reasons. And I put the data in front of him and it said he was functioning like a 40-year-old. And he looked at me and he said, 40. Oh, that's a good age. Now, depending on whether you're a 20-something and immortal and thinking that 40 is old, or you're something like me and or you and Carol, where we appreciate 40 was a good age.
That's right.
Very good age.
Well, we can choose to maintain that. We have to change our habits. You cannot do fast food, which turns out to be slow death. You cannot have an environment where you're naive to the amount of toxic matter you're bringing in and or having to deal with. But these are choices. And we now know enough. We don't need more studies. We just need to apply what we know.
Well, Russ, Carol and I would really, really like to thank you for sharing your valuable time, perspective, insights, and guidance with us at this very critical reset point in each of our journeys. We've been very fortunate to know you for a number of years now, and you never disappoint in terms of the insights that you're able to bring forward. So we really appreciate that. And we hope that each of you listening, as well as your families, friends, patients, and business associates, stay safe and stay well.
Thank you.